Hey guys. So still figuring out this new iPad. So sorry if you don't hear me too well. People said they hear me well, but I'm still gonna try to get like a clip-on microphone or something just so I'm a little bit clearer, because I don't want people to have to jack up their volume to hear me. Okay, I gotta find where my camera is. It's right here. My camera used to be over here, or it's over here if you're looking at me from your orientation. You gay? Your orientation. So my camera used to be over to one side, but now it's up at the top. So I gotta remember to look at the top, just to look at you. But, so I told Laura about my time at the beach. I told her about, some things I figured out in regards to dealing with my dad. Because, as the entitlement man, he thinks he's entitled to everything. I'm gonna scoot you back a little bit. There we go. And look at my big boy over here. And I've got Minus down here in front of him. So, but I have learned that because my dad is entitled and so used to getting his own way with everything, I've come to a conclusion, and I came to this conclusion I was at the beach, actually, and I told Laura about it when I was standing there with the water rushing over my legs and my feet and my toes digging into the sand and just letting the water come and go all over my feet and my legs and everything, and up to my waist, up to my stomach, and not letting it swallow me, and my dad is like a little kid who flips his shit when he doesn't get his way. And so long, my whole life, I've believed that if he got mad, it meant I did something wrong, that I was in trouble and I had to fix it, that I had to pacify him, because if he was mad, I did something bad. And I came to the conclusion when I was at the beach, I was standing there just thinking about all these things, and his temper is his problem. And like 2 years of therapy it took to get to this point, to really internalize that message that his temper is his problem, and that I don't have to jump and try to fix it every time he gets mad. Like, there's nothing to fix, because I'm not the one that broke whatever it is that made him mad. Like, if I went in and punched him in the face, or if I went in and I shattered his TV, yeah, he'd have a reason to be mad at me. But him being mad at me for being myself, that is not my fault. That is his problem. I don't have to shrink myself, and I don't have to filter what I think, what I feel, what I do through what does my dad think. I've changed it to, does it make me happy? Yes? Okay, then I'll do it. I'll dress this way. I'll feel this way. I'll do this thing. I'll ask him this question. And if he gets pissy about it, that's not my problem. That's him being him. And who he is a pissy, petulant child in the body of a 6'5", 5-inch tall man who acts like a 5-year-old even though he's 77 years old. And I just turned 46. And hitting that realization was just like, I was just standing in the beach like, bruh. I just stood perfectly still, just watching the water just come in and go out, and just being like, whoa. It's like I was being reborn. And now I'm all full of dopamine and happy chemicals because I had such a good day on my birthday. And my dad tried to ruin it the next day. He tried and he failed. He tried and he failed. And it's really funny. So, like, I'm going to put you closer again so I'm more in frame. Okay. Look at my big boy Godzilla over here. I love you, big guy. on Monster vs. Godzilla. That's my husband, y'all. But when I opened my Super Mario Galaxy movie that my dad had picked for me, you know, he picked it off Amazon from my list of gifts that I give to my family for holidays and stuff. Like, what do you want? And I'll just give him the list. So I'm like, Dad, I'm going to subject you to this movie. You know that, don't you? And he's like, okay, how about tomorrow at about noon? Okay, so tomorrow, meaning yesterday, because remember today was Wednesday, yesterday's Thursday, today's Friday. I'm talking fast because I'm excited, you know, about all this. So I'm going to try to slow down. So this morning I woke up a little bit early, you know, got his morning stuff done at like 9:20 instead of 9:45 because I didn't putz around in my room, just enjoying my alone time, my privacy, before I had to give the rest of my day to him, which that is basically what caregiving is. You give your time to someone else and it doesn't belong to you. So I gotta steal time where I can, and morning and night is really the only time I can take that's mine. So yesterday I got a whole day, which was a nice break. But so I got my dad's lunch all made early, ready to have it in the room so that at the right time I could give him his afternoon meds and his lunch. And I got him his soda a little bit early so that I wouldn't be trying to go out and pour it and missing part of the movie. And I told Dad, so you ready to watch the movie? And he's like, the movie? And I'm like, Super Mario Galaxy. You said we were going to watch it today. And he's like, I don't want to watch that. And I had that internal collapse moment of, you fucking asshole. But instead of saying that to him, instead of getting pissy at him, I'm like, okay, we're just not going to watch a movie. And I left the room. And I left his soda in there. And I went back to my room and I actually took a little nap. A little cat nap. Like my cat eye glasses, a cat nap. And I left the attitude in his room. I mean, I was mad about it because I had taken time to be prepared for this, and then he just threw it back in my face. But instead of being like, this is my failure, I did something wrong, I'm stupid, I'm worthless, I'm a loser, blah, blah. Instead of doing that, I'm like, he's just an asshole. He's just being a big twat jerk. And that ain't my problem. He just doesn't get to have my time. Because he wanted me to put in another movie instead of the one I want to watch. And I'm like, I'm not going to watch something you want to watch. You know, I put this time aside to share this movie with you, this thing that I love with you, and you don't want it, so you're not going to get it, and you're not going to get my time. That's not what I said to him, but that's my thinking. He's not going to get that time unless it's on my terms. Because we made an agreement and he broke it, and so I'm not going to let him change the terms of that agreement. That's what I used to do. But that's not who I am anymore. I'm figuring out who I am. And knowing that he won't be holding me down, you know, sempiternally, that makes such a difference in my thinking, because it's what broke away the suicidal ideation for me, is knowing that there is an end point to this prison that I'm in, which is being saddled with having to take care of him. Because Mom refused to make plans for his future if something happened to her. And, well, she died. And now me and Marcy are having to scramble and figure this out. And instead of it all being in place, we're having to do all this work, scrambling. And I do have a huge trigger where when I don't feel heard, and then the consequences of people not listening to me happen, and I'm caught in them, because the only way for me to get something done about it is to speak up and hope other people can act for me to get me out of the way of this. And my mom was the queen of not moving and just letting us all get run over by whatever, you know. And now her death is what we're getting run over by, even though we told her go to doctors, get looked at, and she wouldn't, and it killed her. But also the medical system moving really slow killed her, and catching COVID helped kill her. But it wasn't the COVID that killed her, it was the cancer. But she got COVID, and it just destroyed any chance she would have had of trying to fight it, because then she was just too weak afterwards. Because she did recover from it, she tested negative when she came home. So she beat the COVID, but that was the last thing she beat, was COVID. And that was the only time she ever had it, and it fucking helped her die. But the important thing is the realizing that my dad's temper is not my fault and not my problem. And that just because he's mad doesn't mean I have to jump and fix it. It took me 2 years to figure that out. So I hope whoever else is in the same boat, that you do it quicker. But being told something and internalizing it are two very, very, very different things. And it will take time sometimes to believe things and internalize them. Like getting out of the suicidal ideation, that was fucking difficult for me. Fucking difficult. And sometimes I still kind of start to go back that way, and I have to be like, nope, we're not trapped, we're waiting. It's a reframe. But the thing with recovery is you got to start habits and keep habits and make it so they become so automatic that when you start going into a bad spiral, you can get out. You know, it's planning for the future, for the you that you're going to be. You got to plan for that. And you start it by building habits, changing how you talk to yourself. You know, it's hard work, but when that clicks, when something clicks and there's a change in you, you will know it. Because going from suicidal to wanting to live again, it's like stepping out of a cold, gloomy winter into a warm, colorful spring. It's like there's flowers, there's birds, there's butterflies, the sky is blue, the grass is green, the flowers are all these colors. There's a world out there. And it's not always gray except when it's raining, and sometimes it does rain, but even the rain is beautiful because there can be rainbows. The sun comes out in the middle of it. And instead of it just being dark and scary and sad and lonely and horrible, it's bright, it's beautiful, and it's waiting for you. And I hope you can find that place where you get out of that ideation. You get out of the things that hurt you. Please, don't give up, okay? You know, I share my struggles because not everyone can get therapy, and if anything I say here helps someone make it through another day, it's worth it to me. Because you are worth it to me. And I love you, okay? Bye-bye.